Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki was one of the first books I read in 2023, so it's almost been about a year, and I just want to go back and talk a little bit about it in retrospect. So basically, if you haven't read this, what it boils down to is that the poor and the rich, the thing that makes them different is their financial habits. The rich are going to do things like invest in assets, whereas the poor are going to buy things like luxuries and, cars and houses and stuff like that. So that is the primary difference between poor and rich. But I've also watched a lot of Robert Kiyosaki this year, seen him in a lot of interviews, and he said one thing he always says about how people are so willing to fall in line, and it's absolutely true. So rather than read a book like Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Kiyosaki, or even something like The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace Wattles, we are so apt to fall in place, to just go with the status quo, to listen to what everybody else says, right? Like Kiyosaki himself says, like, you go to school, then we get a job, then we work and work and work and work, and then we retire, and then we die. That is essentially it. We fall into place. The problem is that we are too damn compliant. That's what it is. We are too willing to play someone else's corrupt game. And they'll paint people like Kiyosaki or Elon Musk, paint them as villains, right? They have money, they're villains, they're evil. But is that true? Have you ever thought about that? Is that true? Because the way I see it, books like Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or Wattles' The Science of Getting Rich are guidebooks to creating our own game, our own way of being, our own mindsets, our own existence, right? So often we're just compliant. We fall in line. We do what everybody else has freaking done, and this results in, guess how? The same as it has for everybody else. And that is the problem, that none of us learn, none of us know that, or we're too afraid to stand up and push back against it. The system, the game that is being forced on all of us is corrupt as hell. And people like Kiyosaki are trying to help us. This is a guidebook to get out of what he calls the rat race. This will help you. This will help you. Watching the news will not help you. Watching the news will keep you right where you are. 2024 is right around the corner, so it is a great time to do this. Stop being compliant. Stop giving a shit what people think, right? That's the main problem. Stop caring what other people think. Other people might think Kiyosaki's an ass. Don't think that. Read it and judge them for yourself. Stop listening to people. Stop being compliant and stop playing a corrupt game that is set up to make you lose, because that's what's happening. And as long as we walk around in a stupor, we act like sheep, nothing is going to change. We need to make the change within ourselves first, and then within our communities, and just it'll radiate out from there, right? Because energy is contagious. But as long as we're compliant, and as long as we play this damn game that they've set up to bring us down, nothing's going to change. So step up to the plate. 2024 is right around the corner. Step up and stop being a sheep.